All right. So I'm here with Steve. You know Steve.
Yeah, years by now.
Yeah, he's been in several videos.
A lot of videos.
He really good with pistols,
Well, I don't know
excellent
about
with knowledge. Steve, give a brief introduction
that.
to your background in firearms.
Been shooting since I was 10. Start reloading when I was like 16. Uh, Had a pistol since I was 16, and it was the Smith & Wesson Model 4506 all stainless. But I sold it. Needed money. But anyway, so yeah. So it's been a long journey of finding the right pistol that I like, because realistically that pistol was too large for carry. But
Yeah.
we're going to get into that.
All right. So, what do you think the biggest mistake first-time pistol buyers make?
Um, they don't choose probably the correct caliber, and they don't pick a gun that is appropriately sized for them.
That makes sense.
We'll go into that later.
So, my metrics for choosing a pistol, I think we talked about this before, but it's manufacturer and reliability.
Right.
I carry a SIG because I thought they were reliable, and then they gaslighted everybody with their whole "this ends today" letter. If you haven't seen that, I'll post it up here.
Okay.
And then, so yeah, manufacturer liability, legal considerations,
Yeah.
like can you legally carry this pistol where you're going? Ease of use, meaning like this one, can I manipulate the slide? Does it fit? Can I actually squeeze the trigger? Double action. This is a Model 29, Some people might struggle squeezing the trigger on these. See? If you got weak hands. Another one, grip size is huge for me. Ammo and capacity, caliber, parts and magazine availability. So, what are your metrics for choosing a pistol?
Obviously, your reliability in manufacture is a big deal. How available the magazines are, that's a big deal. How available is the ammo, and how expensive is the ammo? Because there are plenty of pistols out there that might fit your bill, but the ammo could be just stupid expensive.
Well, real quick, how much does 9mm ammo cost?
Okay, right now it's like, believe it or not, crazy. 50-round box of this costs about $10 now.
Yeah,
which is not bad
for carry ammo. I saw Spear Gold Dot for I think
practice ammo.
Yeah, $25 for a 50-round box of Spear Gold Dots. That's what I saw for 9mm,
which is awesome. Now 45, different world, still a super popular pistol, but they are more expensive. Like we just priced them at what, $23 for a box of 50.
$23 to $25 for a box of 50,
and
for practice.
Spear Gold Dot for these is going to be about almost $2 a round. So there's that.
The Model 29.
Oh yeah.
I hand load for this reason. Practice ammo for this is about $1.25 a piece. Carry ammo is about $3 a piece.
Crazy. And of course, I reload for both of these too.
But what's the legal consideration with carrying reloads?
Right. Every attorney I've ever talked to said that if you're going to carry a firearm for self-defense, the ammo should be factory.
Yep.
Because it avoids a whole lot of the argument from the other side.
Prosecutor will basically say you loaded your ammo to make it intentionally more deadly.
Yeah, more deadly.
You'll have to get ballisticians involved to prove your case, which can get very pricey very quick.
Yeah. So just stick with factory ammo for carry, and then you can reload. Obviously, we're big reloader fans. Reload your carry ammo to the same specs as your practice ammo, so that way you're at least practicing with the same velocity and pressure as your carry ammo.
That'll go a long way in the ways of recoil, right?
Then there's and then there's no surprises. So because you can load this thing down to really low velocity, like 750 feet per second, something crazy.
Yeah, you're not gonna have any recoil.
And great and no recoil. But then you go to shoot a factory defense load out of it, and it's going to be a wake up call. So
that's very pronounced with this thing.
Yep.
This will take 44 Special or 44 Magnum. I can load 44 Magnum down to 44 Special, which has about the same recoil as this 1911. However, how bad is the recoil on this thing?
Yeah, with
full powered loads.
Full power load. That's
you're going to see in the video. It rocks.
That's a beast.
It rocks you.
So yeah. So ammo selection, price of ammo. Where else are we at? What's your other questions? Reliability.
Like
size of the pistol.
Availability of parts and magazines.
Right.
And Let's talk about that.
And then actually, I don't know if we've gotten to it in a little One of the biggest overlooks is the actual holster.
No, I didn't even think about
The
that.
holster, because if you can't find a holster that is comfortable, you won't carry the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've literally spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on holsters to find the ones that I like.
That's crossbreed.
This is a crossbreed.
I talked about my crossbreed earlier in this video.
And this is a We the People, which this is a fantastic holster. We're not sponsored by either one of these people. This is what we like. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
This is a Bianchi. It's outside the waistband.
My dad has a lot of these. He loves these holsters.
And then I've got, for the 1911, the old school battle belt with a replica World War II holster. And then World War II mag pouches. Because
why not, right?
Why not?
Okay. So.
All right, so next question. How much training does someone need before they should be confident carrying?
That's, I'd say, a personal question, but you got to be able to confidently be able to draw your firearm and use it effectively with confidence. That would be I mean, how many rounds that takes. That for some people that shoot a lot might be able to buy a new pistol and only put a box of ammo through it and be, because they've shot so much, but then a brand new person, whew, you're going to have to put a lot of bullets downrange just to get comfortable with the pistol and know what to expect. And
it matters if you're left-handed, right?
And it matters if you're lefty. He's a lefty, I'm a righty. And so knowing how to manipulate your controls, if it's not made for a left-handed person, which default
I have to manipulate it with my trigger finger before I can do anything.
Yeah.
Or move my thumb over and do it.
Of course. Well, even that is not designed for a lefty.
No, but when a right-handed person reloads, they hit this with their thumb, and they rack it out, and then tap the ejection rod. Left-handed, what I do is I swing my thumb over the frame, hit it, rock it out, and then tap the ejector rod. That's the difference between left-handed and right-handed on a revolver. Other than that, everything else is pretty well the same.
Right. So, what else? What else do you want to?
If you could recommend one pistol for a beginner, what would it be and why?
Well, for a beginner, a couple options. Brand new out of the gate. Never fired firearms before, you might want to go with a revolver. Simplicity of operation. You don't have to deal with the slide, because some people can't even operate a slide. Super reliable, and they make them pretty small. So you can get your feet wet with a revolver, in my opinion, for a brand new shooter. Brand spanking new out of the gate, never shot before ever, you might want to start with a revolver. And just get used to the recoil and pulling trigger control and shooting the pistol. And then once you're comfortable, you might delve into the round. I'm thinking especially for women. Like,
oh yeah,
my oldest sister can't rack the slide to save her life. Her hand strength is super weak as far as operating a slide, but she can operate a revolver.
One caveat to a revolver is in single action, trigger is super light. In double action, now this is a Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wessons are known for their great triggers, and you trigger cock it, you pull it until it's about to break, you can feel it start to let up, and then you just finish the squeeze. But my ex-wife, I bought her a Smith & Wesson Airweight, and these got about, a 12-pound trigger, double action?
Trigger.
It's a heavy trigger.
It's a heavy trigger.
The trigger is the safety in double action. And the Airweight did not have a hammer, but she had a hard time pulling that trigger. So I ended up carrying that pistol more than she did. And it was 38 special. And I recommend you start off with 38 special if you're going to start off with a revolver. Yeah. You don't need to be jumping into Magnum cartridges.
Yeah, 38 special. Or you get a 357 and shoot specials out of it.
Yeah, you get like an SP101, Ruger SP101, and just load it with 38 specials. And then you got the option for Magnum when you're ready for Magnum.
Right.
That's a good idea too.
So that would be a good route to go. Smith & Wesson 38's a pretty low recoil, like super low pressure load. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it still do the job. I mean, there are plenty of people been put in the dirt by 38 special. So that's an option. But then once you're But if you've been a shooter but you've never actually thought about carrying one for defense, and you're like, yeah, I want to get into defense, then probably the 9mm would be the best option, because ammunition is so readily available for it right now.
I think the last on bulkammo.com, I picked up 1,000-round brick of MagTech 115 grain full metal jacket for roughly, I think, $250, maybe.
Yeah,
I'd have to look. I'll post it on here right now.
And you can reload the crap out of 9mm very, very easily. So,
and you get mil-cert powders too. Like, they don't take much powder. If you cast your own bullets, they don't take much lead. They don't take much anything.
They're great.
There's a metric fuck ton of military brass out there that you can buy too.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get into more details later.
Yeah. So this is the short version of this. This is going obviously
short
going
as meaning you can
get it. Short as meaning you can get it. So this is going to go obviously in our main body video about selecting a pistol. And as I said previously, all these interviews, there will be long forms of all these interviews that will be available as their own separate videos, and they will be linked at the end of this video. So just watch to the end, or scroll to the end, however you want to do it. Where the videos pop up at the end, you'll see like the Homestead Tech Talk flag waving, some kind of fucking dark trap music or some dumb shit, and then there'll be videos pop up. Those videos will be these interviews.
Nice.
With that, we're going to roll off, and we're going to keep talking about these in the long form of this conversation. All right, so let's go beyond the basics. Let's dive into some really good details with Steve and some of his firearms experience. So, would you care to reiterate in detail, a little bit more detail, how'd you get into shooting? Stuff like that.
My whole family hunted when I was a kid, and so everybody had guns. Guns just part of our life.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. And then as I got older, I was like, man, I want to shoot handguns. So I saved up my money, and of course, it was a gift to me. But
sometimes you'll have that.
Yeah. And then I bought that first pistol when I was, I didn't buy it because you can't buy them.
What kind of pistol was that?
It was a Smith & Wesson 4506, all stainless.
What is the Smith & Wesson 4506? I'm not familiar with it.
It's the old, it's a big police pistol when they first switched over to semi-automatic pistols prior to Glocks.
All metal frame?
All metal frame, double action trigger. Had double action trigger with the cock and lock. Mm-hmm. Not cock and lock, decocker. Decocker.
So your first one was double action.
Double action.
All subsequent ones were single action shots.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you get past that long pull double action, you got smooth single action.
Yes.
Similar to the Brett M9.
And it was all stainless, but it was a full-size pistol, 5-inch barrel. I think it was an 8-round magazine.
What caliber?
45.
45 ACP.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. For some reason, the 9mm start with the number 39, whatever. I think 39, and then put 45. Start with the number 45.
Yeah.
Now some had aluminum frames with stainless slides.
Okay.
But the 4506 was stainless frame, stainless slide.
Nice, big, heavy, low
nice,
recoil
big,
pistol.
heavy. I got it to competition shoot because my first electronics instructor in high school, Mr. Roney, I'm sure he's probably dead by now because that was a long time ago. He was an electrician on a Navy ship, and he was our electronics teacher. And he's big into shooting, and he's the one that like got me into reloading. He's like, oh yeah, I reload on my own, hard cast bullets. He's like, you gotta go get you set up, just get you a 200 grain hard cast bullets. He said they're easy to load, so that's what I did, and I just started reloading my own. And we taught guns. It was great, and I practiced a lot with that. I mean, I shot that pistol a lot, and like I carried it in my car. And then it was my side. I'm a single for a long time, so it was there was nobody in the house but me, so it was my table pistol, side table pistol. So I mean, it was with me all the time.
Nightstand gap.
Good gun, but from a carry standpoint, as far as carrying it like out in public, I never carried it on me in public because I didn't have a holster. It's too big. The gun was gigantic. So
how would it compare to like this?
They're very similar, like size-wise.
Was it like a stack and a half on
it
the?
was no, they were single stack, and they were even shaped like they even copied the shape
The 1911.
as a 1911. But right here was wider this way.
Let's see.
So, I mean, I could hold it, but it was really wider than I liked.
Yeah.
Right. So, as I continued to start learning about pistols, of course, the 1911 was a big competition pistol back then. Still is today, right? So I learned a lot about the 1911, and it was always one of my favorite pistols, but I never owned a 1911 for a long, long time until my grandpa died. And then when my grandpa died, he was a chain smoker, and he left his truck to me, but my dad was like, it's got a 1/4 inch of tar on the inside of the windshield, so if you want, I can sell it, and we can go buy you a pistol with it. So that's what I did. So when we went to the store, my dad was like, whatever you want. You know, you get to pick out your pistol. So I went through, just probably spent hours at the gun store looking for this pistol. But this was a Smith & Wesson Custom Combat 1911. Two-tone, because I love two-tone. This is not an aluminum.
Scandium or indium?
Scandium frame, super light, stainless slide. It's got the combat hammer, combat trigger. It's got the dovetail at the back.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's got that big dovetail.
Yep.
It's an A1, right?
And then, so it's really hard for people with big fat hands. Their skin can actually roll over that, but I don't have fat hands. So I don't have because when this comes back, guess what happens if your hand's up there?
Yeah, hammer bite or slide bite.
Yeah.
One of the two.
So that right there keeps your hand down. So when this comes back, it don't get you, because this ain't stopping on its way back. But these are not the original frames grips, because the original grips are just a little bit fatter.
You can see that on here.
This is an aftermarket. They're a little bit thinner, because I like to be able to hold the pistol. And then also they have that little spot right there,
the thumb groove
milled out, so that when you go to release you can fit your thumb lays down in there, and you don't have to move your hand to get the slide or the magazine out. So that's now something about Smith & Wesson, something to remember if you ever go. Most Smith & Wessons will not fire with the magazine out.
Well, that one.
But this
1911s typically will.
But this one will. They kept this one true to the combat.
Yep.
And that means this will fire without a magazine in it.
And that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Some people think it's a bad thing, because most of the time when you're reloading, if you're good at shooting, assume I've got this in here. You're going to do a tactical reload. So assume that there's a round in the chamber. The first thing you're going to do is get your other magazine out. You're going to drop this one out and insert this one, and then stow this one, and you got a round in the chamber. Well, in the midst of doing that, if you need to take a shot while the magazine's out, you can take that shot.
Yeah.
But on the caveat to that, check your chamber and don't blow your head off.
Right. Other than that, this one does have the chamber, which is not standard. If you look at the top of this one, there's no hole right there. So you can't see if the gun is loaded, whereas this one, there's a hole in the top, so you can literally see if there's a round in the chamber, which I like.
Loaded chamber indicator.
Because with most of these, you do not know if there is a round in the chamber or not. You can't see. There's no way to know. Unlike a revolver, where you can actually see the bullets in the back. And for a long time, there was no way they didn't make a way for you to know. So that was nice. And then how narrow this gun is. I mean, that is one of the most amazing things about 1911. Some people hate them, but when it comes to carry, I mean, if you look, I'll show we're unloaded.
Yep.
All right, but if you look at the back, look at that.
Thin boy, right?
Look at the. You can see. I mean, this is a pleasure to carry. Like, this isn't bad either. We're going to get to that one. Okay, so why do I not carry this gun all the time? Because this is an heirloom pistol. If I actually, God forbid, had to use it, it would probably be confiscated for 2 years. And
It's going to blood etch.
And I don't, yeah. And I don't want this to be in the hands of the government while they decide whether or not I was justified. So I went looking for a replacement that I could carry all the time. And here's the problems I ran into.
So how much is that? How much was this pistol?
This in 2000.
Yeah, we need to talk about cost here.
My grandma died in 2010. My grandpa died 2 years after that, so 2012. So this is 13 years ago. This cost $1,053.
To put that in perspective, I was looking at some Dan Wessons at Kentucky Gun Co. the other day, and they were $2,100. Yeah. I would assume that pistol is probably closer to the $2,000 mark today.
Like, if you had to buy one of this quality today, it'd cost you a couple $1,000. So, you know, that's just...
This is a Turkish replica. It's stamped United States property in 1911 A1, but it's not. It's from Turkey. It's a TSOS imported in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's almost an exact remake of the 1911 A1 that was used in World War II, but it is not this pistol.
Right.
We're going to do a comparison between these two in a later video.
Oh, let's go back to this. One more thing. So, because there's a bazillion of these in circulation.
Yeah. The magazines are interchangeable.
All day long. And they're metal. And so literally the only thing that really can go wrong with these, unless somebody smash them, is the spring will go bad. And you can just literally just buy a new spring. And you've got a brand new magazine.
Now, on this particular model, I don't think you can replace the spring. I think it's tack welded in. But these magazines are so cheap, you can just go buy them. Right. A dozen.
Now, you can get super detailed. Like, this gun is detail oriented. Like the trigger and the hammer and this, and then even the magazines. Let me see my old magazines. So if you'll notice, the old magazines, the coating,
it's phosphate,
are not polished.
Yeah.
Whereas the custom combat Smith & Wesson ones are just so smooth. It's ridiculous.
This one does not fit in here.
That is full size.
And that is the compact.
This is the compact, and this.
But they both hold 7 rounds, right?
Yeah, this is 7 rounds.
I'll be.
So this is a short. This is called the what? The government. This is called the Commander.
This was the government model. This was the 1911 U.S. Army.
This is the Commander.
Or 1911 A1 U.S. Army. Full size 5-inch barrel.
If you look,
it's quite a bit smaller.
You see see how much it sticks out. This is, and I got this one because it's shorter this way too.
Yep.
All right. So I'm a whopping 5'6", and I'm extremely
You're
skinny.
taller than I am.
Yeah, not by much.
You got me by a couple inches.
But even because I'm so thin, it does not take much for a gun to stick out. So printing is a really big problem. And so, ladies, depending on what you're wearing, if you're a petite woman and you're trying to conceal your pistol, you got to think about this part right here. Oftentimes is what's gonna either right here or right here is gonna get you on your print. So anyway, because I didn't want to carry this all the time because it's like a super expensive pistol, I went down the rabbit hole of finding one that fit my hand. I like the way it felt. I like the trigger. This has an amazing trigger. To match this trigger is just.
May I see it?
Oh, this?
Yeah.
This? Oh, yeah. Now we will talk about this. It's still not broke. It's still not broke in. I've put so many bullets through this gun, and it's still that.
Well, the slide's custom machined to the frame.
Now, see, without the slide, well, part of it's because I'm dropping it on a
empty magazine.
But because if there's not one in it, it's actually not hard to. Right, but when you do that and try to do it with you almost can't because it's so stiff. I mean, I don't know what they put in that magnet, but anyway. So,
can you dry fire this?
You can.
So it's just
snap caps are great.
That is a great.
No, that trigger is just stupid, crazy good.
And this fits your hand really good. And this one fits good too.
Yeah, I mean,
but this is so much lighter. This pistol's half the weight of this one because of the scandium frame. Now it's either scandium or indium. I will post it right here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
what exactly it is. Pretty sure it's scandium.
Yeah,
it's got that
I think
reset.
That gun weighs 28 ounces. No, it don't even weigh 28 ounces.
And this has the longer trigger, whereas this one has the shorter trigger. So this one fits my hand just a touch better than this one does.
Right.
But this one's so much lighter, and it's just almost molds to your hand.
Oh, I love that.
And this is a beautiful. I've shot this before. It's great. We're going to shoot these. We're going to compare these.
Put like a magazine into all this big around.
Yeah,
with that one.
this thing is accurate. Now, and these have tritiums, right?
No,
just dots.
Just dots.
But it's a lot. The sights. It's got better sights than the GI model. These are traditional GI sights. It's got a better hammer. It's got a better trigger. And it's custom machined in. It's going to be if you look at this, I can move the slide. I got wiggle to the slide.
There's a little now.
Well, there should be because
I've shot it.
And this has a lot less wiggle, like a fucking ton less wiggle. It's a beautiful pistol. But this was a $378 pistol, and this is a, moving closer to $2,000 pistol now. So that's the difference. You do get what you pay for in a pistol.
Okay. All right.
We talked about your canic. How much was that canic?
Like $400.
Yeah. How much are the magazines though? And this is a Turkish pistol.
Pistol. So you know how many pistols I went through before I landed on this one?
No.
So
I know you had that XDE.
I had the XDE. I had a P365.
Glock 19.
I had Glock 19. I don't like any of them. And here's what you're going to run into when you. So unfortunately, even just going to the range, if you had a range where you could rent a pistol and shoot it, you still don't know how it's going to feel to carry it all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Until you've carried it all day long and shot it several boxes through it, you don't really know how that gun is going to work for you, which sucks. So all of those pistols previously we just mentioned, I didn't like them for one reason or another. Either it print too much, or I didn't like the way it fit in my hand, or it didn't shoot worth the crap, or the trigger was garbage, or any one of those things, right? So one day I'm going out, I'm looking for yet another pistol to fit the bill. I was wanting 9mm. I was wanting a reliable pistol, and the Canic is actually a NATO certified pistol.
Really?
Yes. So this is rated for the highest pressure 9mm round, so it can take the abuse. And the reviews online, they put 30,000 rounds through one of these, and the original guide rod spring was just fine.
Really?
Yep. So this is like a double parkerized finish.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is thinner than like your Glock and some other stuff. But it's still a little fat. It's double stacked. So this is a 12-round magazine. It came with a 12-round and a 15-round.
So it's got good capacity.
It's got good capacity.
Looks like you can put a red dot on it if you want.
You can. It's got, if you want to put red dot or some type of holographic optics, you've got that option. From the factory, it comes that way. And it comes with different color.
Those are fiber optic sights.
Fiber optic sights. You can get, there's like yellow, red, and green, I think. I put the green. I prefer the green. Mm-hmm. I see the green better.
Me too. Reminds me of tritium.
And it's got it's got like a,
excuse me.
It has a loaded chamber indicator right here. So if there's a bullet in it, this raises up and you can feel it and you can see it. So
you can swipe your slide in the dark and
right, and you know that it's loaded. And then if you look at the back, if you look, it's empty. I'm going to turn around. If you look at the back, you can see your firing pin. So when this gun's fired, the firing pin is way down in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can visually see whether or not the trigger's been pulled or not, which is cool. That's just one of those really cool things. It's got textured grips on both sides. It fits my hand amazingly. And the slide, like right out of the gate, I can manipulate the slide stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many bullets I put through this gun, but like I can manipulate this one better than I can this one. And this one's had infinitely more rounds put through it than this one.
Yeah.
Yep. So this gun is great.
What I'm noticing too is it's also ambidextrous.
Yep. Yep, it does. Yep, it's ambidextrous.
It's got the trigger safety.
Yep.
Feels good. And I think last
is.
time we went shooting, I shot this out to 50 yards, and it was
Yep.
more accurate than my SIG.
It is a striker fire pistol.
It doesn't have as much slide wobble as the SIG, and when I pull the trigger on it, the sights stay where they're supposed to be. The SIG, you can tell the slide moves as you pull the trigger. So this is actually built better than the P320.
So out of the box, the trigger on this is phenomenal. Like, it's crazy. It's got a better trigger. It blows the Glock trigger out of the water.
Yeah.
And its reset is crazy too, because if you well, I don't know if you can see it on the, so if it, once you fire it, once that slide comes back right there, that's already reset the trigger. And then you lay it down, and if you listen, right there.
It's got a good reset. It's got a good trigger in it.
It's this trigger on this, you can double tap with this thing so fast. And it even says it right here. This gun will fire
With the magazine.
without a magazine in it.
Yep.
Because it is a NATO, it's a combat pistol. It's designed to shoot that way.
And that allows you to fire the round in the chamber if you're in the middle of a tactical reload and have to.
Yeah. So it is 9mm. It's got the front serration, so you can do it either way. Right, back, front, and this one's even got the little
Picatinny rail
on the bottom. So if you want to add a light or a, you can put the Mantis X10 on there.
Yep.
To do dry fire drills with. It will. It's got the big opening, so if you want to wear gloves, if it's wintertime. This, and I don't remember. I feel like this is changeable for left-handed people.
It more than likely is.
I feel like you can change this around. I don't know how to do it, but I feel like you can.
There it is. You got to push the indent in there, it'll pop out.
Yeah. So it's an amazing pistol. Now, when you go to carry it,
but
it comes with its own holster.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Crossbreed's the only way to go.
So let's talk about holsters for a second. So you can spend all the money in the world on the gun, but if you don't have a good holster to carry it in, you're not going to. And if you do, you're going to hate it because it's going to be uncomfortable and it's not going to feel right, and it'll
dig into your side.
So
if you're a chunky boy like me, that's a big problem.
So, like, one of the things with this pistol that I learned, even in this holster, well, yeah, I don't know how much time I got.
You got time. Look at that.
Oh yeah, it'll fit it.
I'll be.
So on this one, it's got that little piece right here.
Yeah.
See how that sticks out right there?
Yep.
Because on your 1911s, that little piece right there will get you over time if you're carrying it all day.
Yep.
Inside the waistband. Nice thing about crossbreed, if you get them with this. Now they make them without this, but I always get them with that because then this sets against my skin, and none of the pistol actually touches my side.
Yep.
So then, I mean, you can literally carry this gun all day, and it's pretty light.
I use my crossbreed holster. I carry my P320 with me everywhere I go, and yeah, you can carry it all day, every day. I can carry it in the car. I can drive in the car with it on my hip, and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. So the weight's distributed out between the two, which is nice, and then your belt. Like, thinking about what kind of belt you want, my belt has steel in it, just like steel radial tires. My belt, gosh, it's like an $80 belt, but it'll never stretch, and it's designed for carry.
Is that leather?
It's leather.
Nice.
With steel in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I would forget, because when I go through a metal detector, my belt sets metal detectors off, and I forget that my belt has steel in it. It takes me a minute to remember.
Another good option is like this next belt. It's nylon, but it's stiff, and then it ratchets. So you can just, because, you know, my weight fluctuates a lot. I can just ratchet it in, ratchet it out.
Yeah.
Good
So,
belt, good belt goes a long ways.
what else would I want to tell you about? The bottom line, you're gonna have to carry it and be prepared to sell it.
Yep.
Because you might be like, this trigger sucks. This digs into me. I don't like the way this feels. It doesn't shoot worth a darn. I don't like the sights. Whatever.
And everybody's different.
And everybody's different. And you, like I said, I went through like 3 or 4 pistols before I landed on this one. And this is changeable for different size hands. It's got 2 other, so it can make it shallower or bigger.
Similar to the Glock ones.
So that's nice. Now something. This is a detail that's only unique, maybe to me. You still finding ticks?
Still finding ticks on me. We were squirrel hunting today.
So crazy chain of events. When I was 16, I was treated for an ear infection with a medication that I had an allergic reaction to, and as a result, if anything with an edge pushes into my skin for more than a few minutes, I'll get a whelp. My body react, and that was 40 years ago, almost, not quite. So this particular holster, if I carry it for a lengthy time, like crack of dawn to 9 o'clock at night, even though these appear to be flush,
yep, they'll get you.
They're not. So that spot right there, it's the front one, on my hip bone, pushes into my skin through my underwear, and by the end of the day, I'll have a nickel-sized welt from that one.
Yep.
Just so your holster, because I had to buy several holsters before I found one that I liked.
I think we need to make a disclaimer here too.
Oh yeah, probably need to put a disclaimer at the beginning, middle, and end of this.
Not anything legal, but
okay, well,
just because something costs a lot doesn't always mean it's good.
True.
So, you know, this thing was $378. It doesn't mean it's not good. It doesn't mean you can't carry it. I haven't tested it enough to see. This is a $400 pistol. He carries it all day long. I got a $1,000 pistol I carry all day long. I like his pistol better than I like my $1,000 pistol. And guess what? If you drop that pistol, it's probably not going to shoot you. So,
yeah.
I'm going to get sued by fucking SIG for saying that, but this ends today. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is a great pistol. So other than it being made in Turkey, that's the only thing I don't like about it, but because the reviews are so good and they've absolutely shot the crap out of these guns and they just keep working.
Yeah.
They just keep working. So this is a great carry piece because it's not humongous. It's short both ways. It's short this way and it's short this way. It can be concealed by the time you put this inside your pants and this wraps around and you throw a shirt over top of it. It doesn't print.
Another good point is age, too. Older pistols, a lot of times, are made to a higher quality standard than newer pistols. Good example of this. This thing. How many problems have I had with this thing?
It's a brand new gun.
This is a Smith & Wesson Model 29-10 pistol. The Smith & Wesson Model 29 1 and 2 are the most popular revolvers around. They were super reliable. If you look here, they had recesses for the rim of the cartridge. They had pin barrels. Overall, really nicely made. This thing has really nice etches. But after the first 150 rounds I put through it, what would happen is in double action, it would go real nice, easy one, real hard one, and then wouldn't go at all, almost like the cylinder was messed up. And it was, and then what I started noticing is, and we'll look in here, I'll zoom this in. I showed you this on a previous video, but there's dents in these stop notches right there and right there. Now, I already had to send this pistol back to Smith & Wesson. They've had this pistol for over a month. I just got it back. They replaced the stop notch, they replaced the frame, and they replaced the barrel. But they did not replace the cylinder that's fucked up. So now I have to send it back to Smith & Wesson to get them to replace the cylinder because the stop notches are fucked up. Even though it does work a lot better than it did, it's still not right. And this is a brand new pistol.
Brand new.
This was a $1,200 pistol. I paid $1,200 for this. That's a car payment. That's a car payment and a half right there.
2 car payments.
It's 2 car payments.
That's 2 car payments.
So this is a 2 car payment pistol that I've had to send back to Smith & Wesson. Now, had I paid about the same amount or maybe a little bit more, I could have bought a -2 from 1977 and never had an issue. It probably had 50,000 rounds through it. So Smith & Wesson, you need to do better. This came out of Smith & Wesson's Performance Center.
Yeah.
At an earlier time than this was made, and it's a wonderful pistol.
This pistol right here.
This is a $400 pistol that's plenty reliable, and this is a $378 pistol that I've put 50 rounds through, and it seems fairly reliable. This is the least reliable pistol on this table right now.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Yeah.
So
these generally are the most reliable pistols.
So just because you paid a lot for something doesn't mean it's going to be a good pistol.
Yeah.
And hold the manufacturer accountable to that. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah. Well,
all right. So what
else we got?
Let's see. You got? I know you're.
So what's the number one drill every pistol owner should practice?
Drawing it out of your holster and at least getting your first shot on target.
Well, that would save a lot of ammo too.
Double
for
tap. Correct.
Just doing one. Yeah.
And then you can even do that drill with a
Mantis. Yeah, they got little dry fire things, and it'll tell you how you're drawing. It'll tell you your speed from draw to pull, and it will tell you if you're jerking the trigger or if you're moving it.
It literally shows you the whole arch of your trigger pull and draw, and it shows you anything you're doing. They're amazing. And then you can also get snap caps for them, or 3D print your own.
If you're
a 3D print person, 3D print your own snap caps, and then you can just practice drawing and putting on target. And now, granted, you can't do 2 shots with snap caps, but
you can practice drawing, put on target.
Right, you can practice drawing, putting on target, and get your first shot off.
And with snap caps, you can also practice reloads. Now, reloads aren't as important as getting rounds on paper, but you can dry fire reloads. So, for an example, if you got snap caps in this, you could do similar to what I did with the tactical reload earlier with snap caps in. If you got a snap cap in the chamber, you can pull the trigger. You can practice tap rack bangs without the slide just locking back because it's an empty magazine.
Right.
And tap rack bangs, believe it or not, are extremely important, especially in the 2025s where, earlier, as you've seen in this video earlier, and I'll play it again right now. When I did those tap rack bang drills, when I had the failure to feed, failure to fire, remember when we were shooting my SIG? Those were actual failure to feed, failure to fires. That was not like I put a dummy round in. Those rounds just really didn't fucking work.
Wow. So there's that. And then wear different clothing. Make sure, because in the wintertime, you're going to have more clothes on than in the summertime. So you got to make sure you're aware of what you're wearing. You need to make sure you practice getting to it in your car. If you're sitting down, like once you seatbelt in, I'm right-handed, and your seatbelt goes here, well, now you can't get your pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's just things to think about.
Dry firing out of the car would be a good one too. Practicing that.
That's a little bit harder to do if you live in the city.
Yeah.
We live in the country.
He lives in the country. I'm in the damn suburbs. I get in trouble for that.
Up here, we could do this kind of stuff and not have to worry about your neighbors calling the police on you, because you will get your neighbors call the police on you if you try doing this at your house.
Well, that's why we come up here to train.
But of course,
we had the cops call on us one time, remember?
Yep. First time in 7 years living here.
We're doing an annual shootout, and I think everybody was magged up in the steel targets back there that you always see. I'll play that video right now. Yeah, the cops got called after that.
Now, as far as guns to what should I say? How should I say? Give a second thought to. So 380s will fit your bill on all this. So a good 380 can nearly match a 9mm, not quite.
You're not going to have as much performance, but you're going to have.
But you especially
similar capacity, lower recoil, slightly more ammo cost, but the slides are also easier to rack, and that's why I got Diana 380s because that easy rack security, the security 380 with that easy rack slide.
So to the female audience that might be thinking 380,
380 will kill you just as dead as a 9mm.
380 is a great round, especially with ammo technology like it is today. But it's cost. Even though the 380 is just basically a smaller version of a 9mm, they cost way more.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, part of that reasoning is even though it's super popular in the United States, and even though it's technically less material than their 9mm and 45s, they cost as much as your 45s or sometimes more because Europe
is only allowed
to shoot no higher than 380. They can't shoot anything larger than 380. So whenever we have our crazy ammo shortages here, 380s go to like $95 a box.
Yeah.
Because guess who else buys them? People in Europe.
Yep.
Whereas in Europe, they can't buy these cartridges, whereas we can. So,
sometimes it's always good to have a pistol in an obscure cartridge too, just because sometimes they're still on the shelf when all the other mainstream ammo is not.
Right.
Like 357 SIG, 44 Magnum.
So that's just food for thought when you go to buy. If you decide, if you're a female and you're like, well, I can operate a 380 and I can manipulate all the controls and I can shoot it, and that's great. And that might be what you have to go with. But if it is, you need to stock up on ammo when it's cheap, because when the next crazy thing happens and we run out of ammo, you probably won't be able to buy it.
Don't eat out, cook at home for a few months, and then use that money to buy ammo.
Yeah.
And then treat yourself to cooking out after you buy your ammo, or treat yourself to eating out after you buy your ammo.
Yeah. So that's just food for thought.
Yeah.
So pretty much, yeah. Holster, carry it all the time, be prepared, but don't be married to that pistol. When you buy it, just think, there's a good chance I'm going to have to sell this pistol because it may not work out. Just go in knowing, hey, this pistol might not work out for me, and you just might have to, what's the word for it, Chris? My brain's.
Might have to trade it in, or
no, but how do you consignment sell it?
Consignment.
So the guy up here and near me, he's a federal firearms dealer, and he owns his own shop. He consignment sells them for me, so that way he does all the paperwork. He makes sure it's being sold to somebody that's not illegal, and then he just tacks on 10%. So usually I get most of my money back. So basically, at the end of the day, when you're done, if that pistol didn't work for you, it might cost you $40 for 6 months to realize that pistol sucks. And then take your money that you got from it, go buy another one. Try again. Like I said, I know it was four pistols before I landed on this one? I think it was 4 pistols.
Yep.
I had to do that.
And the difference in cost from a new to used pistol, go buy a used pistol and try it. Used pistols work just as good as new pistols 99% of the time.
There are still double action Smith & Wessons out there that still shoot just fine.
One caveat to that is I would make sure that the slide rack's back, make sure it functions properly, function check it before you buy it. And if they won't let you dry fire it or whatever, well, then buy it from somebody who will. Because I went to look at a 1911. I was picking this up from a gun store because I was getting it back from repair. And my 4473s always get put on hold, like 90% of the time. Like I have to wait 3 days before they'll release a pistol to me. So I got one approved, so I wanted to pick up another pistol while I was there. Well, I looked at another pistol that was similar to this. It was a competition model pistol. And when I had an empty magazine in it, when I pulled it back, the slide wouldn't lock back on an empty magazine. Well, this piece right here was worn out and would no longer lock the slide back. Now, that's not a big deal because this is one of the pivotal pieces to take this pistol apart. They make 1 million of them.
Yep.
You can get another one, but I wasn't going to buy a pistol if it didn't work. So then they sold me on one of these, and it was cheaper, and it works just as well, and I think it's fine, and it shoots great. So keep that in mind. Make sure the pistol works before you buy it if you buy used. I would buy used and then sell used if you don't like it on consignment, like he does.
So there you go. I mean, and learn your laws.
Arms list. Yeah, arms list is a great thing too. You do not have to buy one from a gun shop in most states. And if you buy one from a person, guess what? You don't have to do a 4473. Food for thought.
Yeah. Get you attorneys on retainer. That's who I have.
Attorneys on retainer.
Mm-hmm. They're out of Arizona. They're just they're an actual firm that does all kinds of stuff for Arizona, but they literally sell for a monthly fee. They're on retainer.
Really?
In the event of I thought I told you that.
I got Attorney Shield, but that's not the same. That's just police interactions.
That's just police interactions. For you actually had to use your pew-pew in a self-defense situation.
Yeah. Attorney on retainer.
You call them. Well, You set it up. They send you the contract. They have videos for you to watch. They literally read the contract to you through the videos, and then when they're done, you sign them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you send them back, and then they take your money, and it's a monthly subscription, and then they it's pretty good deal. I'm not sponsored by them either. It's just
I'm not sponsored by
I
Attorney
used to be
Shield either.
I used to be
Cool if you were.
United States Concealed Carry,
USCCA.
USCCA, but they're an insurance company, and after they denied several people coverage because the insurance company felt like that they couldn't win it in court, which that's not their decision.
Yeah.
I was like, no. And so, what's that guy's name? Big Heavy Country or something is a YouTube channel where he did one of the videos with one of the people they dropped and pretty much shafted them. He was like, you need to do attorney on retainer. He said, that's the only people I go through. So I looked it up, and sure enough, I was like, okay, these people are legit. And they even broke down, the guy that owns the firm broke down some of these cases that United States Concealed Carry would not cover, and he's like, nope. He said, we're going to cover you no matter what. That's what you pay us for. So, and it gives you a list of stuff you should say and not say, and it tells you what to do after the case. And they have,
don't say you shot somebody, say you were assaulted. Stuff like that.
They go through what you should say and not say. But they also, within as one of their members, in the event you do, have to use your firearm in self-defense, and the government, your state police or local police do confiscate your pistol.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a loaner pistol. $1,000.
Attorney on retainer.
$1,000 to have a loaner pistol.
Oh hell!
Because like this, so if they took this one, well, I don't have a gun anymore, right?
Yeah,
well, I don't want to carry this one still.
Yeah.
So I think it's $1,000. So I can go buy me another one while I'm waiting for them to do all their BS, and then when I get mine back.
What do you do with the loaner?
I'm not for sure on that. I'm not for sure if it's like yours or what. But and then there's so much they pay for. Say it happened in your house.
Mm-hmm.
You can only imagine the mess.
You have to have your house professionally cleaned. If you shoot someone in
clean,
you don't know if that person's got diseases.
They have a allotment to have your house clean, or your car if you ended up having to do that in your car or in your house. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It'd be terrible if you shot somebody up close and then like their blood got in your cut and you ended up with a butt flu like a week later, because you didn't properly clean your house.
Yeah. So
not that would happen. I think HIV dies off relatively quickly.
2 minutes
when exposed to oxygen. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as it hits the air, it dies in 2 minutes. But anyway,
what I'm saying.
Just food for thought. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by them, but they're freaking awesome. So that's something to think about. Ammo, something to think about. Start and reloading your own, something to think about. If you're not a reloader, you need to be.
Doesn't hurt. We can make, and we need to do our improvised munitions videos.
We still have to do a reloading video.
Casting. Improvised munitions.
Our shotgun video.
Yep.
I really want to show you all how to reload your own shotgun ammo for turkey hunting or squirrel hunting. And that's a whole nother video. But anyway. So, yeah. Anything else?
What are the most common bad habits you think new shooters develop?
Flinching. Flinching is probably the most common bad habit. Well, first of all, rally gate. You put your finger here and not here.
Finger straighten off the trigger until you're ready to fire.
You need to
There's 4 fundamental firearm safety rules that you need to follow.
Right, and you might want to go hire an instructor and just go to the range with them with 300 rounds and just have them beat some of the fundamentals in your head.
Yep.
But that's a biggie because a lot of people if they brandish their firearm, and that's another thing, some states allow you to brandish and some states don't. But let's say you're in your house and you did pull your pistol out and your finger's here and somebody startles you. One of the first things that happens is a reflex is you tighten your fists when you are scared. And if your finger's there, you just shot your gun. Whereas if you put your finger there and your startle reflex happens, you just push the side of the pistol. Mm-hmm. So that's one. And then when improper grip, which I've been working on my grip forever. It's this hand.
Yeah.
There's a famous shooter. I can never pronounce his name. He's one of the fastest shooters in the world.
For revolver or regular?
The revolver dude shoots the shot and reload.
You talking about Gary Mikulek?
That guy.
Jerry Mikulek. And then there's also Masad Aoud is really good on revolvers.
Yes, that dude. he was a former prosecutor. Watch his videos because he tells you a lot of stuff you need to know.
Jerry McLeod?
No,
Guy, or was it Masad Ayub?
that guy.
Yeah.
But one thing that Jerry says is he said this hand should be more tired than this hand
Mm-hmm.
because this hand controls the pistol.
Stability. It's all your stability right there.
So you've got to learn proper grip with this hand, and then you need to learn to keep your finger there, and then you also need to, when you pull your trigger, don't try to compensate for recoil. That's probably the number one. There's thousands of people online that talk about how to fix that problem. But if you just from the get-go know the gun is going to recoil, it's just going to happen. But if you're controlling it with this hand like you're supposed to, and just let the that trigger that sight did not move off that. So
that happens really bad with high recoil rounds like this revolver.
And I don't know
what'll happen is while you're drawing down and squeezing that trigger, you're instinctively going to dip the nose to compensate for the recoil rocking you back. So you will dip the nose, you'll dip the muzzle, and then fire, and it'll rock you back. A good way to tell if you're doing this is all your iPhones, most of your phone cameras, they've got a slow motion feature. You want to slow motion your camera. You want to randomly put some ammo in here, live ammo and snap caps. And you can do this with a semi-auto as well, with snap caps and live ammo, and you're going to fire it, and you're going to put your camera where you can directly see this with something with lines in the back that you can line this up with, because the human eye is really good at telling when things are level. And you're going to slow motion yourself firing this, and you're going to watch. So when you fire, it'll go, but on the dud or the snap cap, you'll notice that when you fire it, you'll dip the muzzle.
You'll push it down.
And I'll show you a video of that right now.